So I'm going to get started, and we're going to talk about video games. So here's my little intro slide. I'm going to just do this with a lot of pictures. Um, my pronouns are she and her. We're learning on the fly together. I geek out about a lot of stuff. A lot was read in my bio. I work at Microsoft in university recruiting. I have for almost 5 years. I'm a digital artist. I'm a painter. I'm queer. I'm a mental health advocate. I have an anxiety disorder and PMDD and ADHD. And yes, I had to take an extra Adderall to do a presentation this late in the day. So if I'm talking too fast, that's why, and I'm sorry. I am a Pittsburgh native. I'm a cat mom. I went full quarantine hair and shaved most of it and then tried to bleach my own roots, which went poorly. So then I dyed the whole thing pink. So I geek out about a lot of stuff. And then, of course, I shamelessly self promoted a spoiler alert for the store up here as well. But what I want to geek out about with you all today is video games, which is like my favorite thing ever. So this is also my less formal photo. This is me from my quarantine walk today. So, like I said, I grew up in a household that did not allow video game consoles. It was all educational computer games only. I begged and begged. In college, I finally was able to play on some friends' consoles. And then a couple years after I graduated, oh, I'm going to be so bad at accidentally doing this. I'm so sorry. There we go. Um, After a couple years after graduating, I started working at Microsoft, and magically, you're the best, Rachel. Magically, I got an Xbox when I started at Microsoft. It's not for everybody. It just happened to be my manager that year. So I started playing on this Xbox. It was literally everything I ever had hoped gaming was, and I fell down this hole. So going from never playing video games and not being allowed to kind of experiencing it for the first time as an adult, especially as a woman, which we'll talk about in a second. But so I actually now, by working at Microsoft, I do a bunch of cool stuff with gaming. So I don't work directly with gaming, but I do work with our intern program, which is about 3,000 interns every summer. And I co-lead all of the gaming programming. So I'm starting with that this year. I guest starred on a friend of mine's gaming podcast called Joe Plays with Friends, which if anyone cares, I'll put that link here. I occasionally host streams of Jackbox for quarantine for my friends. And the coolest thing I do with gaming is that I um, work with this team of volunteers of Microsoft employees that partners with Xbox's Gaming for Everyone org, which is about making sure gaming is accessible to all communities and welcoming to all communities. And they have this thing called the Gaming for Everyone Feedback Crew, which is all Microsoft employees. We get together and parts of like either our gaming partners or our internal games will come to us and say, hey, is this game or this feature or this marketing campaign inclusive for everybody? And it's filled with people from all backgrounds, people from all over the world, people from all different races, orientations, genders. It's so amazing. And it's just the coolest thing in the world. Rumor has it, this is the team before I joined it that actually got Lara Croft Tomb Raider's chest to be a completely normal size. So, big wins there. This gaming topic actually came out of a conversation I had at the previous She Geeks Out event where I was trying to figure out what to talk about. And we talked about trying to figure out where to start with gaming, talking about gaming during quarantine and social distancing. And I believe that games can not only be a ton of fun, but they can encourage empathy in people. They can teach us new skills. They can help heal people in really real ways. And they can truly kind of show us of our existence in the world, right? They can do really amazing stuff. So I geek out about games. So I'll try to run through this pretty quickly. Quickly, I want to debunk a gamer stereotype. So I think a lot of us, when we think of gamers, we think of young white boys, not men, boys, sitting in very dark rooms, staring at a lot of monitors and have this mic, right? This is my gaming headset. So it's these guys. When I Googled gamer, these are the pictures that came up. But gaming is everything. Gaming is simulation. Gaming is Candy Crush on your phone. Gaming is all kinds of stuff. It's not just like Call of Duty or Halo. So some stats, 45% of US gamers are women. 70% of simulation game players are women, and the average age of a female gamer is 36. For men, it's 32. So it's not nearly like this young white boys club as we think it is. Another thing I really want to call out during this time in particular, a bunch of therapists and psychologists are coming forward and saying that gaming during this time of social distancing is kind of awesome. So, broadly, video games provide opportunities to experience real emotions without real world consequences that may typically be associated with those emotions. We can experience the catharsis of aggression, the awe of fear, even the transgressive thrill of cheating, all bound within virtual playgrounds that cannot reach out and otherwise mess with our lives. This is, I think, particularly valuable in a time when so much feels uncertain and out of our control. This was an interview that he had done about kind of the COVID situation we're in and how gaming can impact. And this is something a lot of professionals are saying. So it's super cool. You're allowed to make time for gaming. So this is what I'm going to try to talk about in the minutes I have left. And I'm definitely going to talk about this more in kind of the networking afterwards because I love to geek out about this stuff. But when I'm looking at where to start for a video game, like what new one, what am I going to like? These are the things I think about. Obviously, you can just open up a game and play it. But if you're someone who's like, I don't even know where to begin, this is where I start. So, do I want an amazing story? Do I want to play a game that's going to keep me hooked like a really good novel is? Do I want game that is beautiful to look at? There are great games that have terrible graphics, and there are terrible games with really great graphics. There are some of both and all kinds of mixtures, but do I want something that's just beautiful? Um, the level of customization. So when I reached out to my community and I said, hey, I'm doing this talk on gaming. What do you look for in a game? This is something that comes up a lot for women, people of color, people with disabilities. The level of customization is how much you can make your character look however you want. So some games you log on and you play as that broad-shouldered white dude. Yes. I love that someone knows what game this is. But some games have this incredible level of detail. So not only can you play as a woman or a woman of color, or maybe you can add a wheelchair, or maybe you like this one is like you can change the inner and outer iris color. And there's like Dragon Age Inquisition is amazing. So we'll talk about that in a sec. But this is really important for people who want to be able to feel themselves and see themselves in the game they're playing. So to kind of go back to that list, point of view is something that's really important to me. It's not important to everyone. Rachel, don't worry, I'm going to cover this. Point of view for a game that is from a character's point of view can either be first person or third person. There's also some other, like you can be in a 2D world. There's a bunch of other examples. But first person versus third person is whether the camera is like coming from the eyes of the character or from behind the character. This is only really important if one of those makes you sick. First person games make me super sick. So if you're someone who tends to get car sick, something to consider. Or if you play a video game and you're like, oh, I feel terrible. It's not all video games. It could be the point of view. Okay, learning curve and tutorial. If you're a new gamer, maybe you want to start with something that has a really good tutorial. It tells you how to play. Minecraft is a great game. There is no tutorial, so I really struggle with it. So that's something to consider. Oh, I went too far over. Time commitment. Some games like Tetris take a couple minutes. Dragon Age Inquisition, which we're talking about, has like I've like clocked 300 hours in that game, right? And it barely finished it. So like how much do you want to commit to this? Low stress. Video games are awesome. They're a ton of fun. Games can be calming or really stressful. Like, are you shooting a bunch of stuff? Are you running from zombies? Or are you fishing and planting and farming? Achievements and goals. I'm very focused on achievements and goals. So I like to be able to know, like, oh, I'm going to work towards this thing, and then it's going to reward me for this thing. Like, I know what I'm trying to do, what I'm getting towards. That's a thing. System is something, especially if you're a new gamer and you don't want to go out and spend a couple $100 on a new system. That's really important. So when you're looking at games, what does it run on? Does it run on Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo Switch, Windows, Mac? Steam is a good platform, which we could talk about later in our chats because I'm way over time already. But that's something to consider. And that's my cat. She wants to be a part of this. Playing with friends, so multiplayer, if that's something you want to consider. And then, of course, budget, right? So, do you want to play something that's going to be a really big, like huge studio game that you're going to drop 60 to 50 to 60 bucks on? Or do you want something little that's maybe free or $5, $10? So, this is pretty much almost my last slide. This is my, and I will share this because it is impossible to go through right now. This is my where to start video game list. So if you want to play each of these things, this is where I would recommend. I have personally played all of these games except Portal, which is in first person, which I've watched someone play, and they are all awesome. They also all have like mostly women as the main characters. So come and talk to me after this if you want to chat more about these. They're fantastic. What I will leave you with is if you, again, the cake is a lie. Yes, I listen to the Portal songs all the time. So, really great resources if you still don't know where to start, you want some more stuff. Subscription based models and bundles are great because you can try out a bunch of different things. I'm going to plug Xbox here. Xbox Game Pass is great if you have an Xbox or a PC. Humble Bundle is great. EA Access is great. And then every time I go to play a new game or buy a new game, I always go and look at someone playing the game. So I go to YouTube or Mixer or Twitch. Mixer and Twitch are live streams. YouTube people will upload to. Everyone knows what YouTube is. But you can get a sense of what the gameplay is like. So is there a tutorial? Is this beautiful? Can I change my character? What point of view is it from? Does it have too much fighting? Like, it's a really good way to be like, oh, what is this game actually going to be like without powering through maybe a bunch of missions and tutorials and then realizing you don't like it after dropping a bunch of money. Yeah, Game Pass is awesome. So I know I went a couple minutes over. Here's my contact info, my email, LinkedIn, Twitter, Medium. If there's interest after this, I might actually turn that slide into like a full flow chart and post it on Medium. So follow me there if you want that. And then if you are on Xbox or Mixer, or you want to get into Xbox and Mixer, those are my usernames. That's my website. I love answering questions about games. If you want to email me or ping me or whatever and be like, this is what I like, what game should I play? I will happily help you out. So yeah, that is everything from me. Thank you so much.